Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily Quiz for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 16th September today, and in this video we would discuss these important articles which are in this slide, which are actually taken from the newspaper. Every day we upload this video, and if you are the first time visitor of this channel, then let me introduce this initiative to you guys. In this video, we discuss three types of questions basically. The first set of question is from the current affairs. We take up the most important articles from the newspaper. We break them down into the simplest language possible and derive some prelims based questions from those articles so that it will give the idea how the questions do come, how the questions may come from the current affairs, and you will be able to connect your current affairs with your prelims preparation. And the other set of question is from the static topic. If you had followed me, then you would know. And if you had not followed me, then let me tell you that every day we discuss some static topic here. And we had started with the Indian polity. And today we are going to complete our static topic about the preamble as part of the constitution. We will discuss this little bit in detail and derive some prelims based question on this topic. And at the end of this session, we will discuss few previous year questions too. That will give us the idea how the questions do come in the exam. And we will find out various methods by which we can solve those questions and how we can implement that knowledge in the upcoming exam. So this is all about this initiative. Before we start our discussion, I had assumed that you would had already read the newspaper right now. Till now, you would had already read the newspaper. If you had not read the newspaper yet, then we will put some light on these articles so that it will give the context to the questions which we have to solve here. So please don't confuse this initiative with the news analysis. Actually, we are just discussing the questions here, and we will put some light on the news articles also so that you will get the context why we are discussing those questions. And also, if you had not read the newspaper, you will get the idea what was in the newspaper. So guys, please do stay with me till the end of this video. It will definitely benefit you. And before we start discussing these articles, I would like to request you guys, please note down these questions which we are going to discuss here. These are very much important for you. When your exams would be near and you want to revise your current affairs, it would be very much difficult for you, trust me on that. You would try to focus, you would try to get different materials for that. But if you had already noted down these questions, it will definitely help. When you will revise these questions, it will definitely help you connect well with the current affairs which were in the news from the 1 year, and also it will boost your confidence before entering the exam hall. So my sincere request to you guys is, please do write down these questions somewhere. At least take the screenshot of these questions. It would be very much beneficial for you. Now with this, let us start our discussion. The first article which was in the news today, which I felt is important to be discussed, from which the question could come, is about the realizing the rural urban continuum. What is this? If we will, let me try to break this article into the simplest language. In our country, whenever the government is planning some scheme, we would often find them few schemes are for the rural areas only and few are for the urban areas only. So there is that breakdown between the schemes. For example, we have various different schemes which are particular to the rural areas. For example, we have Amrut, it is particular to the urban India. And similarly, we have different Swachh Bharat mission, which has a part particular to the rural areas. So what is now what this article discusses about? It discusses about the PM Economic Advisory Council's report that this breakdown of the schemes is not good. Is not this breakdown of the schemes which the government follows is not good for the nation itself. Why it says why it believes so? Because initially, if we will look at our country, we if we will look at the schemes on which, when the government goes for this formation of any scheme, they will look at the census. And right now the census which we have available is of 2011. And when they frame the policies, they take into the consideration of the population of 2011. They take into the consideration of the changes which had happened, which were in 2011. But one thing is very much clear, that our villages are changing continuously, and also in our urban areas there are some portion of the people, some portion of the area which is very much backward. So these things are not put under the consideration. For example, if any scheme is particular for urban, for the rural area, the connotation in our mind is that that particular area is poor, there is lack of job, there is lack of facilities. But those, if we claim any particular scheme to be particular for any rural area, but in reality the things would be a little bit different. That village, that particular village may be changing continuously, the population may be getting more education, it may be changing very continuously. So the amount of money which we spend on that will get wasted, because there was no need of that thing for which that scheme was applied there. Similarly, in the urban areas, we assume that people are very much rich there, they have jobs, and schemes which the government frames for them, they allot little lesser money for them. So, and unfortunately there are areas in the urban areas that are not so developed, where the poor people live, where the workers live, and they get ignored in it. According to the PM Economic Advisory Council, what it states is that this breakdown of the schemes is not good for the benefit of the country. Rather, what the government should think, it should be, such schemes should be in continuum. What they should do, there should be an automatic switch in it. For example, if any village is transitioning into the urban area, there should be that switch, that automatic switch in it, so that the approach would be different. And also state and center should follow carrot and stick model. Without they should withhold funds for the particular villages if they are not upholding the demands what the center wants from them, or what the state wants from them. So these are few recommendations given by the PM's Economic Advisory Council. So in this session we will solve some questions, some prelims based question on that. In particular, this article is not really that much relevant for your prelims preparation, but as we had promised you, every topic can, UPSC is very much unpredictable. They can, right now we got the idea of the PM Economic Advisory Council. Tomorrow they may ask you a direct question for the prelims from this PM Economic Advisory Council. So our aim is to get well prepared for about these topics. So we will solve this question in the next slide with respect to it. The another article which was in the news is about the human ties to India's mineral ecosystem. This is also very much mains based article itself. About this we should know a few important things, that multiple mineral blocks are set up for the auctions from the government of India. And earlier, these mineral blocks were granted through allocations, but because of the interventions from the Supreme Court, this was changed into the auctions. When the government grants these mineral blocks to any company, there are concerns that it would impact the ecology of that particular area. So with respect to that, the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act of 1957, it was amended, and government introduced the concept of district mineral foundation in 2015, and also announced PM KKY in 2015 itself. Under this amendment, the state government was allowed to set up the DMF, which is District Mineral Foundation. Whenever the central government will give any mineral block for the auction to any particular company, that company has to pay the certain percentage of royalty to the DMF, which is a District Mineral Foundation, and that certain percentage of royalty which is paid by the company to the DMF would be used in the goodwill of that particular area. So this is about it. Actually, this was introduced into 2015 itself. So in next year, it will complete its 10 years tenure, and it would become very much important for your prelims. So here, what we got from this article, that in 2015, two important things were introduced by the amendment of MMDR Act. It was first thing which was introduced was District Minerals Foundation, and the another thing which was introduced was PMKKY. So with respect to this, we will solve questions in the next slide 2. So what else we need to know about the DMF? If, for example, if minings was allocated, how would be the fundings done to the DMF? If minings were allocated before 12th Jan 2015, then 30% of the royalty fees of the company would be paying to DMF. The company would pay the 30% of the royalty fees to the DMF. And if it is after 12th Jan 2015, it was reduced to 10%. And about DMFs, we should know that more than 600 DMFs has been introduced in across the all states, in approximately in 23 states. And also, once funds collected under PMKKY, the funds, when the funds are given to the DMF, that funds are then collected by the PMKKY, and those funds will be used in two important ways. What are those ways? One, high priority areas, for example drinking water, sanitation and all that stuff, and second, utilize it in the other particular areas, for example infrastructure building. So this was all about this topic, and we will solve a particular prelims based question on this also. And the another article which was in the news is about the Nipah virus. Because of the infection of the Nipah virus, a person died in the Malapuram, and it is said that it is a zoonotic disease, and it has high mortality rate. And those who had come in contact with that person, approximately the number is on 50, those all are said to be go for the quarantine. They have to go for the quarantine. So this was a little bit about this article, and we will solve a question based on this. The another article which was in the news is about the one nation one election policy. About this one nation one election, it has been in the news since last many years, and especially after the legislative elections, after the Lok Sabha elections, it has gained its ground, and people are often talking about it. And according to the report, that next election would government will definitely go for this one nation one election, as right now our PM Narendra Modi is very much in favor of it. And about this we will discuss in the question. We will get more idea about it, what are its advantages. It has huge advantages, because it will definitely reduce the time period. Lot of time gets wasted when there are different elections in particular areas. For example, recently we had the Lok Sabha elections. Now this in the month of September and October, there would be elections in Jammu and Kashmir. Similarly, next year it would be elections somewhere else. So lot of time is getting wasted in the elections itself, and there is lot of investment over it. So to reduce that, to get all this in one line, the government may go for the one nation one election, and for that many amendments would be brought in. For example, right now, if after 5 years the elections, if this would be followed, at that time many states would be recently elected. They would have recently elected governments, and they would have not completed their tenure. So for them it is very much important to go for the amendments. So this is something futuristic in nature. There would be more discussions on it, and let us see what will happen. And with respect to this, we will solve a question and get the proper idea from this article itself. Then after that, there was another article in the news. It is about the environmental social governance ratings, as it was said that this environmental social governance ratings can boost governance growth, can boost the investment, as certain investors would invest on the basis of how the companies are performing in the environmental social governance, social and governance, on the base how the companies are performing on these on this basis. for how the company is doing with respect to the environment, how it is doing with the social interaction of its employees, how it is doing with respect to the governance of its with respect to the management of its affairs. So with respect to this, many companies invest in, on this basis about, there is particular rating given to the company on this basis, and investors follow that and they invest on this basis. So with respect to this, we should know that in India itself, we had earlier, we have the business responsibility reporting and also the corporate social reporting. But SEBI, it restructured business responsibility reporting and brought up BRSR, which is business responsibility and stability reporting, sustainability reporting. It was this business responsibility and sustainability reporting, it was introduced in 2022. Also in 2023, the SEBI introduced ESG rating providers. What they will do, they will evaluate companies, provide rating in the range of 0 to 100. For if any company is getting the ranking as 0, that means they are least involved in ESG, they have the worst rating. And for if any company is getting the 100 rating, that means they had looked after all these issues. So with respect to this, we will solve a question in the quiz session. After that, there was another simple article in the newspaper. It was about the Central Information Commission, as it asks railways to disclose list of staff with the disabilities. Why this was in the news? Because recently we had seen a UPSC officer who had malpracticed her reportings, her certificates with respect to the disabilities. And similarly, there are concerns in various departments that such issues may be involved in their departments also. So with respect to that, the Central Information Commission has asked the railways to disclose the list of the staff with the disabilities. And at the end, we will discuss the preamble as part of the constitution. With respect to this, we will discuss various judgments and solve a prelims based question. And finally, at the end of our discussion, we will solve a few previous year questions. So with this, I hope you had got the proper idea what was in the news today. And let's solve the questions one by one. Here, the first question is, which of the following statements about the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council are correct? We discussed why we had brought this question, because there was the issue. It discussed about the issue of connecting, about the issue of continuum of the rural and urban schemes. So here we had brought the question with respect to the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council. Let us get the idea what it is. The first statement: the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council is a statutory body established under the Indian Constitution to provide economic advice to the Prime Minister. No, it is not a statutory body. It is an advisory body established by the Prime Minister itself. So statement 1 is incorrect. Statement 2: the council is chaired by the Prime Minister with its members appointed by the President. No, council is indeed chaired by the Prime Minister, and its members are appointed by the Prime Minister, not President. So statement 2 is also incorrect. Statement 3: the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council primarily focus on analyzing economic issues and providing public recommendations to the Prime Minister's office. 100 policy recommendations to the Prime Minister's office. 100% correct. Statement 3 is correct. Coming to the statement 4: the PMEAC's recommendations are binding on the government of India. No, it is not binding on the government of India. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option C, that is 3 only. So with this, I hope you had understood the article itself and you had understood this question. Please keep the note of this question, it will definitely help you. And also, if you had not subscribed to my channel yet, please do subscribe it and share this video with your friends too, so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. With this, let's move to the another question. It is about which of the following statements regarding the Pradhan Mantri Khanij Kshatriya Kalyan Yojana in relation to the Mining and Minerals Development and Regulation Act are correct. So we saw that how it was introduced in 2015 when MMDR Act was amended. How it how then the the district minerals foundation was introduced. With that, the PMKKY was also introduced. So with respect to it, let's solve this question. The first statement: PM KKY was launched to ensure that the benefits from mining activities are utilized for the welfare of the people living in mining affected areas. 100% correct. Statement 1 is correct. Statement 2, under PM KKY, 30% of the funds allocated from the district mineral foundation are allocated to the development of infrastructure in mining affected regions. No, it is not 30%, it percentage varies. So statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 3, the scheme mandates that the funds under PM KKY can only be used for activities directly related to the mining operations. No, this is also incorrect, because the mandate the funds can be used in different activities. So statement 3 is also incorrect. Coming to the statement 4, the PM KKY operates as a statutory requirement under the MMDR Act, ensuring that a portion of the mineral concession revenue is dedicated to local area development. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 4, and from the code given below, the correct code is option B. With this, let's move to the another question. Here it is, which of the following statements regarding the Nipah virus are correct? The first statement, the Nipah virus is transmitted primarily through direct contact with infected bats and pigs. 100% correct. And also it is transmitted through other ways also. Statement 2, Nipah virus infection can cause severe respiratory illness and encephalitis with a high mortality rate. 100% correct. Statement 3, there is currently no specific vaccine or antiviral treatment available for Nipah virus infection. 100% correct. Statement 4, the Nipah virus is classified as a category A pathogen by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, indicating its potential for use in bioterrorism. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, all the 4 statements are correct. Now with this, let's move to the another question. It says, which of the following statements about the one nation one election initiative are correct? Statement 1, the initiative aims to synchronize the elections for the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies to occur simultaneously across the country. 100% correct, nothing wrong with this statement. Statement 2, the implementation of one nation one election would require a constitutional amendment to align the terms of Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. 100% correct, nothing wrong with this statement. Also, this statement is also correct. Coming to the statement 3, it says the initiative is expected to reduce the frequency and cost of elections and improve governance efficiency by minimizing election related disruptions. 100% correct. All the 3 statements here are correct, and from the code given below, the correct code is option C. So all the 3 statements are correct. With this, let's move to the another question. It says, which are the following statements about ESG, environmental, social and governance rating providers are correct? Statement 1, ESG rating providers assess companies based on the performance and policies related to environmental sustainability, social responsibility and governance practices. 100% correct. This is what we discussed in it. This is 100% correct. Statement 2, the ESG rating process is standardized globally with a uniform set of criteria applied by all rating providers. No, there is no uniform set of criteria, because it changes from nation to nation, from companies to companies. So statement 2 is incorrect. Coming to the statement 3, ESG ratings influence investment decisions by offering investors insight into this sustainability and ethical impact of their investment. 100% correct. That was the reason for our discussion. Statement 3 is correct. Coming to statement 4, ESG ratings are mandated by national guidelines regulations in all countries for companies listed on stock exchange. No, this is not totally correct. With respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 3, and from the given code below, the correct code is option A. With this, let's move to the last question of today's discussion with respect to the current affairs. It is related to the Central Information Commission. Here the question says, which of the following statements regarding the Central Information Commission are correct? Statement 1, the Central Information Commission is established under the Right to Information Act of 2005 to oversee the implementation of the RIT Act and address grievances related to the access of information. 100% correct, nothing wrong with it. Statement 2, the Chief Information Commissioner is appointed by the President of India based on the recommendations made by the PM and a committee comprising the Speaker of the Lok Sabha and Leader of Opposition. 100% correct, nothing wrong with it. Statement 3, the Central Information Commission has the authority to impose penalties on public information officers for non-compliance with the RTI Act. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, all the 3 statements are correct. With this, we complete today's discussion with respect to the current affairs. Now let's move to the today's static topic, which is the last part of the preamble as the part of the Constitution. Here, preamble as part of the Constitution. Here we have to discuss it with respect to these three important judgments from the Supreme Court. Earlier the question rose whether the preamble is part of the Constitution or not. Then we have the important Supreme Court judgment in 1960, which was the Bureaubury Union case. In it, the Supreme Court said that the preamble shows the general purposes behind the several provisions in the Constitution and is thus a key to the minds of the makers of the Constitution. In the Bureaubury Union case, the Supreme Court said that the preamble is the key to the Constitution. It shows the features of the Constitution. It highlights the morality of the Constitution, and it shows it shows the mentality of the framers of the Constitution. Further, the terms used in any article are ambiguous or capable of more than one meaning. Some assistance at interpretation may be taken from the objectives enshrined in the preambles. So further, the Supreme Court in this case said that here in our Constitution there are certain terms which are very much ambiguous and we need the interpretation. The judges need the interpretation, and that interpretation, how we should interpret those terms, we can get the idea from the preamble itself. We will see on what principles does the preamble stand. So, and further, the Supreme Court in the Bureaubury Union case said that preamble is not the part of the Constitution and hence it cannot be amended. So this was the Bureaubury Union case in 1960. Then same case went to the Supreme Court again in 1973 in the Keshwananda Bharti case. In this case, the Supreme Court clarified its earlier judgment and said that the Constitution is the preamble is the part of the Constitution. It observed that the preamble is of the extreme importance and the Constitution should be read and interpreted in the light of the grand and noble vision expressed in the preamble. And it said that the preamble is the part of the Constitution. And further, in the LIC of India case 1995, also the Supreme Court again held that the preamble is an integral part of the Constitution. Right now, what we believe that the preamble is the part of the Constitution and can be amended. But which part of the preamble can be amended? It is that part which does not deal with the basic structure of the Constitution, which was established by the Keshwananda Bharti case. In it, the Supreme Court said that those things which are related to the basic structure, those cannot be amended. So here in the preamble also, those things cannot be amended which are related to the basic structure, and others can be amended. So in nutshell, preamble is the part of the Constitution and can be amended except those which are related to the basic structure. So this was little idea about it. So with today's class, we complete the whole discussion about the preamble. From tomorrow, we will start about the Union and its territories. We will start with the Article 1 itself. So with this, we complete today's discussion with respect to the static topic. Now let's solve the question which may be asked from this article itself. Here the question says, which of the following statements regarding the preamble of the Indian Constitution are correct? The first statement, the preamble to the Indian Constitution is considered as part of the Constitution, 100% correct, and reflects the fundamental values and principles underlying it, 100% correct, nothing wrong with it. Statement 2, the preamble has been upheld as a part of the Constitution by the Supreme Court of India, 100% correct, under the Keshwananda Bharti case and the LIC of India case. So it is 100% correct and reflect but it is not enforceable in court of law, 100% correct. The values which are in the preamble, you can't enforce them. Those are not enforceable. If those are not given to you, you can't go to court that certain rights, certain values are given to us that are not enforceable by the government. So you can't go to the court with respect to that. So these values are not enforceable in any court of law. Statement 2 is also correct. Statement 3, the preamble's objectives can be amended through a constitutional amendment, but its basic structure cannot be altered, 100% correct. Statement 4, the preamble is legally binding and can be used to interpret the provisions of the Constitution in the context of the fundamental right. 100% it can be used to interpret the provisions of the Constitution in the context of the fundamental rights, but it is not legally binding. So statement 4 is incorrect. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1, statement 2 and statement 3 only. With this, let's move to the last part of our today's discussion, which is the previous year's questions. Let's try to solve. Here the first question is, B.R. Ambedkar was elected to the Constituent Assembly from, he was from the Mumbai presidency, but he was not elected from it. He was elected from the West Bengal. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option A. Under another question here from the previous year questions, here the article say, here the question says the Anarchical and Revolutionary Crime Act 1919 was popularly known as Rowlatt Act, Pitt's Indian Arms Act, or Albert Bill. It was definitely known as the Rowlatt Act, which is option A. So with respect to this question, the correct option is option A. With this, we complete today's discussion. I hope you would like the video. I hope you had understood what we had discussed here, and I hope you would share it with your friends. So thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.